Hi, this is Mary from Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Don't tell me, is that rain? I don't feel anything. Rain.
Where's my hard hat?
Somebody lost something. Hey guys, wow, we got a pretty good crowd in here. Hey Deb, Jeff, Greg, good to see you guys. Patty, great seeing you guys. All right, hey, we have a pretty good podcast this evening, and I know we weren't here last week. We were camping, as you saw from the intro. I made up 2 videos describing or showing some photos from our campout. We were up in the Allegheny National Forest. That's in northern Pennsylvania, along the Pennsylvania-New York state line. And yeah, it's a very active area. Hey, JR, good to see you. All right, let me see. I usually have a bunch of business to do. I know there's one more festival as far as I know. That is the Jefferson Township Fire Department Bigfoot Festival. That is in Jefferson Township, Greene County, Pennsylvania. And that is, if I can find my notes, and it's not here. Wait a minute. Go away for a week and I'm lost. Okay, October 5th. That's the Jefferson Volunteer Fire Department, Jefferson Township, Greene County, Pennsylvania. And I will be set up there. And one other bit of news. This evening is our Fan Appreciation Day. It's our giveaway. And I figure, what the heck? Let's give away a copy of the book. All right. So the winner must be present to win, because primarily I will need your address. So you'll need to message me, whoever the winner will be. But a little bit later on, just, if you want to be, let me see, we'll call it about 8:45. You let me know if you want to be included in the drawing. Hey, Barb. And, just say, I don't know, what word should we say? Hey, Sandra. Okay. Type in the word, I want to win, or book. Type in the word book if you want to be included in the drawing at 8:45. And we'll go from there. But hopefully I'll be able to keep up with everyone. All right. So, all right, this evening we have a special guest, a gentleman who was at our campout, and he can tell us all about what he experienced, his organization. And this is Mark Lynch from Cryptid Search Investigations.
Hi, everybody. So you just want me to take it away?
Go right ahead.
Thank you very much for having me on, Mary. You've got a wonderful organization, and I've heard nothing but good things.
Thank you.
And we had a great camp out last weekend. And so I guess really for me, the primary events that took place around my camper were the first night there, and then my last night there, which was after everyone else had left. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the first night that everybody pretty much was woken up between 3 and 4 a.m. by different things.
Okay.
Some people reported having sounds outside their tents and campers, and others reported actually having their campers rocked, and all, those stories are for them to tell. But for me, what woke me up at it was right at 4 a.m. was a loud bang. At the time, I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it kind of sounded like it was something hit the side of my camper. And I travel in a pretty large toy hauler, pull it with my pickup. And so sure enough, the next day I was out looking, and there was a new dent about 8 feet off the ground where something had pretty obviously smacked it. And it, it was in a spot where it wouldn't make, it was too big to have been a nut or an acorn. I mean, this was something like a palm smack, like if I was 8 feet tall and I could smack something with my palm, it had put a pretty good dent in the side. My camper is metal; it's not fiberglass, so it had put a pretty good dent in it. And the gentleman that was there that later in the week was taking fingerprints and handprints climbed up, and he said he couldn't really get anything specific, but he knew something had touched it because there was an oily substance, and he put his fingerprint powder on and it stuck to it. but whatever it was had done it in such a way that it hadn't really left any dermal ridges or anything there. Although I know he got dermal ridges off some of the other fingerprints and handprints that he took.
Yeah.
So that was the first night. And then, let's see. I've lost track. I've been up here so long now, I've lost track of which nights we were there. But anyway, I'll take us on through, and everybody else left Sunday afternoon. And I mean, everybody left, not only those that were with our camp out, but anybody that was camped anywhere near us. I mean, I drove around for a while, and there was nobody left anywhere near us or near me where I was camped. And so I didn't think too much of it. I was kind of expecting a little bit of activity, but not quite what I got. So there was a storm coming in that night, and I knew that from the weather reports that it was supposed to start raining after midnight. So along about probably 9:30 or so, I started hearing what sounded like running outside of my camper. And I sit at just where I'm at now. I have a table, and there's an open window to my right and another open window to my left. So it's, you can see in both sides, and the curtains were open. And it was very dark out because I think it had clouded over. But I could hear what sounded like running. And it was very odd because, I could see out, and there were no lights. There were no indication of any, if it was young people, it sounded like, it didn't sound heavy like you would expect from an adult Bigfoot, for instance, or even an adult human. It sounded smaller, but it was definitely running, and it sounded bipedal from what I could tell. And I know the lady the first night one of the ladies had reported hearing a very similar thing. And so I'm listening to this, and it kind of started to not really bother me, but it just was like, what in the world is this going on out here? So finally and I think you may recall, Mary, at one point during the event, you had asked for somebody to get attention, so that I can be pretty loud if I want to be. And so I yelled out my window. At this point, I didn't yell as loud as I sometimes do, but I yelled out my window. I said, "I can hear you out there." And for just a few minutes, it kind of settled down. And at that point, I thought, well, maybe it was somebody else was camping and their kids were out running around in the dark. But then it started back up again. And then things started hitting the side of my camper. Now, the whole time we'd been there, we'd had acorns and walnuts and things falling from above. But this was hitting from the side. And I guess it was right after I yelled that, because I yelled that out, "I can hear you," and it quieted down. And then all of a sudden, it was like somebody took a handful of gravel and threw it at the side of my camper. And I thought it broke the window. The rocks were big enough, and they hit so hard, and it was dark enough that I couldn't really tell. But I really thought, when I get up tomorrow, that window is going to be shattered, And so at that point, I yelled real loud. I yelled, "That's enough!" And I mean, I yelled loud that time. And so again, calmed down for a few minutes, and then things kept hitting the camper a little bit here and there. And the longer it went, the more it got. So I don't know if I ought to admit this, but for only the second time in 50 years of doing this, I got nervous. And okay, I got to remember my order of events here. So before I get to that, now the camper starts kind of gently rocking at one point. And I don't typically put my jacks down. If I'm in a level spot, I just don't need them, because it's not worth the trouble to me to put them down and put them back up. So I didn't put them down. So the camper starts rocking. And I'm sitting here like this, like I'm doing right now, only that's the camper's going back and forth. And I'm holding on, because it's like, and so it kind of settled down a minute, and I got up, and this is where I was going to say, for only the second time in 52 years of doing this, I carry a gun for self-defense, and not so much for Bigfoot, but for whatever, bears. I go places where there's mountain lions and people that you don't want to, go unarmed around. So I got my gun out and I made a point of sitting right here in front of my window, and I loaded the gun and I shut it. And I said out the window pretty loud again, I said, now I'm not going to hurt you if you don't hurt me. And I just laid the gun on the table and everything quieted down. And then pretty soon I heard what I thought sounded like maybe were some heavier footfalls kind of come in. But there were still little things happening, like acorns hitting, but they were coming in from the side. And so I reached over, and there's a curtain right here. So I just reached over and pulled the curtain down. I thought, well, if they can't see me, maybe they'll quit messing around. So I pulled the curtain. Everything quit. About a minute later, the curtain's still open on the other side. I start getting stuff hitting the other side of the camper. And still see in, over there. And so I get up and I go over and I shut that curtain. Well, after I shut all the curtains, then by that time it was probably 11 o'clock, I'm going to guess. This all went on for over an hour, probably an hour and a half. Wow. And the total time frame of all of this, and I'm condensing it, of course, but I shut the other curtain, and all the curtains were shut, and then it settled down. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you, and we talked about this afterwards, and I didn't think of this. Dave came by and we were talking yesterday or day before. The storyteller, Dave. That's his name, right? Dave, yeah. Yes. And so I told him I had forgotten. When I got up that morning, after I was getting everything packed up the next morning, getting ready to leave, and I was shutting all my windows. And when I went to shut the window at the head of my bed, I have a window there that I keep open. The screen was pushed in about probably that far.
Oh.
There's a screen on the end. The window opens out at the bottom, and there's a screen. And something had pushed the screen in about 4 inches right by my head. And so that was the other thing that kind of maybe freaked me out a little bit when I thought about that.
Yeah.
But obviously didn't do anything, didn't hurt anything. Turns out my windows weren't broken. And unfortunately it did. After midnight, it started raining, and then the wind blew and the leaves came down. And the night before, I had big hopes of going out and maybe finding some kind of tracks or taking pictures, but everything was covered up with leaves, probably 2 inches deep by the next morning from the wind just stripped all the trees. And so, so anyway, that's what happened that night. And I've never had anything quite like that happen before. I mean, I have heard sounds outside. And like I said, the first night I apparently had something hit the side of my camper, but I've never had the camper rock as hard as it was that night. And I've never had, like I said, that handful of gravel was probably one of the big things, because it was like a shotgun blast, only, it was rocks. And so anyway, that's that. And I can't see if people have questions. So if you see any questions anybody has, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead and post them. But in the meantime, I know there was the one day you took a walk or a hike down one of the game trails and discovered a few things.
Well, that was caves.
Okay.
The caves. Yeah, there were caves right below, like literally, I walked maybe 150 yards, and I don't know if there's a way to share pictures, probably not, but I took some pictures of some, there's a cave structure that was literally right very near where we were camped. And then that was also the reason I walked down there, was that was when you had said that, well, not only you, but Patty had said that you guys heard a metallic sound coming from right in that area somewhere. So I went looking for something metallic and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause there was the one night that Patty heard and I heard, and Did you hear it also, the clang?
I didn't, but I think that was the same night that everybody woke up around that time in that
Yeah,
time frame. So they were very active around there because, a number of us were camped quite a ways apart. We weren't like
right.
all right together, and
No.
yet we were all getting activity.
Yeah, the campsites are pretty well spread apart. They're nice and roomy, with trees in between. And in the middle of the night, I honestly I don't know what time it was, but Patty woke up. I woke up, and we heard a metallic clang. Initially I thought that it was Patty out there banging on a pot to scare away bears or something.
Well, I've got
Okay.
a question.
Yes.
I know I was camped probably 100 yards from you guys, but that noise couldn't have been when they hit the side of my camper, could it? My camper's metal.
No, it didn't
Okay.
come from up the hill. It
Okay.
came from straight back where you saw the
Right.
caves.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Siberia Visitor has a question. They say, what type of camper do you drive, or camper or vehicle do you drive? Is it equipped with beyond a stock configuration?
Oh, what?
Um,
I don't know what
you're,
that is. I,
uh,
I have a Chevy crew cab pickup, and then I pull a bumper pull 33-foot toy hauler. So altogether, I'm about 55 feet long, but just a pickup with a toy hauler, and then in the back of the toy hauler I carry I call it a UTV, a utility vehicle. It's a kind of looks like a golf cart, but it's 4-wheel drive.
mhm.
Um, they were sold under the name Bad Boy Buggy. It's electric, and I use that to ride around on because I can't walk very good anymore. That walk I took down the trail and back that day was the longest walk I'd had in a while. So,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what I drive. So,
And David asked, is it stock? I guess, is your pickup just whatever it comes in?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just a 4-wheel drive Chevy crew cab pickup,
Yeah.
gas engine, nothing special about it.
Yeah. Patty says it wasn't her banging on pots. Yeah, I know. It was just weird. Yeah, Patty, yeah, like I said, it sounded like it came from your direction, your tent. Yeah, I thought that, because you're a night owl, you're always out middle of the
Yeah.
night. And I thought that it was her banging on a pot.
The only thing metal anywhere near you guys' tent was your fire ring. And I
Yeah,
mean, it was really close. It was within 10 feet of her tent.
yeah.
And
Well, Patty says the banging noise came from behind
yeah,
her
that's what she
tent.
was saying. And that's why I walked back there. But
Yeah,
if there was a trail down through there, it's pretty obvious that something had been using a trail through there.
yeah,
There was no tracks because at that time it hadn't rained or anything.
right.
But if they did, if it was something down there, they brought it up with them and apparently took it away with them when they left because I didn't find a thing.
Yeah, whatever it was. I know I arrived on Wednesday, the 18th, and um, there were two other campers in the area, and they were pretty far from me, nothing close.
Mm-hmm.
And really nothing happened that day. But then I woke up in the middle of the night to a vocal. There was a long whoop, and, I have no idea what time it was, but it was enough to wake me up.
You're gonna have to start watching your times on these, so you know.
I know, I know. It was just enough to wake me up, and not enough to keep me up.
I just have a habit for some reason that whenever anything odd happens, like that night I said I know it was 4 o'clock because I literally when I felt or heard that I don't
Mhm,
remember feeling it. I may have felt it in my sleep, but I woke
mhm,
up and I knew something had banged or something on my camper, and I thought maybe a branch had fallen or something. I didn't know at the time for sure, but I just kind of have a habit of looking at my cell phone. I always keep it laying right there by me, and I just remember it said 4:00, exactly 4 o'clock. So
usually I will also, but I was pretty wiped out from the trip.
yeah, I understand.
So yeah, Patty was, she says, I was cowering in my tent.
She couldn't get out of her bunk.
That's
But she
right.
said the next morning she was stuck.
Yeah, she was stuck in her cot. Okay, Gary. All right, you sound familiar. Your name sounds familiar. Okay, I honestly don't know who you are. Sorry.
Was he camping with us? I don't remember a Gary.
No, I don't think so. No. Okay, and Barb. Okay.
Steel rod.
All right. Yeah, Barb, that's right. Yeah, because their campsite was basically behind Patty's tent, maybe around 30 yards, 30, 40 yards. So yeah, that's a possibility. But to me, the sound, it sounded like how you take a wooden spoon against a bottom of a pot and just bang on the pot to make noise. But who knows? It very well possibly could be that steel rod, the poker.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You hear that?
Yeah, much louder.
That's me banging on the bottom of a skillet.
Okay, let's see. How many do you estimate were, I don't know that word, trouncing?
Yeah, just running around. If that's aimed at me, oh, he's asking Patty that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think Patty heard them running around the campsite.
Yeah, I would have guessed, if I was making a guess, that there were probably only 2 or 3 of the smaller ones that I heard. But then, like I said, later on, I heard what I thought sounded like heavier footfalls come in. And then once that happened, and then I pulled my curtains, and everything settled down. So, if that was mom or dad, they probably come drug the kids off. And I think the lady that had the similar experience the first night, I think she was saying the same thing, that she thought sounded like 2 or 3 smaller ones running around outside. But that night, not only did they have activity, but I had activity, you guys had activity. And I mean, all together, we were probably, what would you say, from the farthest apart, we were a couple, 200 or 300 yards, probably.
Yeah.
At least a couple hundred yards.
Yeah.
So they were either making a lot of, running around a lot, or there were a number of them. I don't know which. Hey, there's Todd.
Yep, here's Todd. Todd came in. Now, the following morning, when was it that Todd came up to your campsite?
Well, he didn't come and actually do the fingerprint stuff until Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
That was when he got by, because he'd been so busy with everybody else, and then I had told him about him, and he kind of went out of his way because he was getting ready to go home. And I said, "Well, you sure you don't want to come look at this?" And then he did, and he ended up spending probably hour and a half because he found all kinds of stuff around my camper, and some of it he thought was maybe even months before, because this is all I do now, is I travel around to different places doing investigations. And I was at one this summer in Wisconsin where we had handprints on another person's camper, and I never even thought to check mine, really. So some of what he found could have been from back then.
Yeah,
we really weren't sure.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Bob and Sherry's site met all the features that you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob and Sherry, they were the other couple who had activity. And Sherry was supposed to have come on this evening, but I think she was having some technical difficulties. But they were having a lot of activity up at their site. And I'm trying to think I think it was early Thursday morning, I received a text message from Cherry that she was in a panic, to be honest. And I think something was throwing rocks or acorns at
Rocking
the trailer.
your camper too.
Yeah, and rocking the camper. Hey, Levon, good to see you. And they just, they really harassed them. They had to turn on their outside lights, and like yourself, I think the activity stopped temporarily whenever they turned on the lights.
Mhm.
And then the activity started up again. But what I found very unusual, and it kind of blew my mind, I've heard of them, Bigfoot backtracking on themselves, where you find the footprints and the footprints stop, and then backtracking, on walking on their own prints to hide their prints. Well, apparently at Bob and Sherry's campsite, they deliberately brushed away or scraped away their footprints to hide where they were coming from.
Mhm.
And, I today I was on the phone most of the day with Kumbo down in Alabama, and talking to him about this trip. And he said, I asked him about that, and he said, yeah, he's seen that a lot of times where, yeah, they'll take a tree limb, like something, they'll use the leaves or their foot or something else to brush away the footprints or cover them up to hide, where they were coming from, so nobody can track them back to
Yep.
their nest or where they're nesting at.
And I saw when I was there, and Todd um, and Sherry were looking around there, and I saw where this had taken place, and that's exactly what it looked like. Is something literally brushed out the tracks. It was very, very odd.
Yeah.
And I hadn't personally ever seen that either. Most of the time, where there's tracks, the ground's going to be soft enough that they're going to leave tracks that you can't cover up by brushing.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was hard packed gravel, so any sort of tracks that would have been left. And Todd saying he thought it was sticks, and he saw evidence of footprints there too. He was spotting a few footprints he thought they missed, but for the most part, it looked like they had brushed them out. And I didn't know if again, I kind of had the impression that maybe after they turned the lights on, and again, I'm just speculating, but got mom and dad's attention, that they come up and drug the kids off by their ear, and maybe they brushed the tracks out. I don't know.
That's possible. Yeah. Yeah.
They said, you guys are coming up here and you're going to cause us trouble because these people are going to come find where our den is or whatever.
That's right. Now, on your trailer, wasn't there a dent found?
That's what I was saying. The first, well, whatever night it was that we all woke up around 4 o'clock, 3 to 4 o'clock. That was when I heard something hit. And at the time, I didn't think much of it because I thought it was probably a limb fell off a tree or something.
Right.
And but then after everybody else was talking, then I went back over and I did a walk around, and I immediately saw the dent. And it's, again, immediately to that, well, that's backwards, but it's there anyway, the way I'm pointing, the window about 8 feet up. My camper's pretty tall. My camper, to the top of my camper, is about 12 feet. And about 8 feet up, there was what appeared to me to be like a palm strike, or a fist strike.
Okay.
It was a dent maybe that big around and probably pushed in that deep that hadn't been there before. And then Todd did climb up there, and what's he saying appeared to? Oh, that's he's still talking about over at Sherry.
The
But
footprints.
Todd got up there and put powder on it, and he said, again, he couldn't get any definitive dermal ridges or anything, but that it there was definitely something there because his powder stuck to it. So there was apparently some kind of oily substrate that was causing the powder to stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's collected handprints, nose prints, and all kinds of prints from different vehicles and windows over the past few months in different areas, and he's gotten pretty good with it.
Yeah, he's real good. I enjoyed it meeting everybody there, and especially all of them. But Todd and I spent quite a bit of time talking. So
Yeah.
So you hear, oh yeah, that's what he had. I remember that now. Todd saying that he had a claustrophobia attack,
Yeah.
kind of almost.
Yeah.
At about the same time in the morning that all of the rest of us woke up, and but he got out of his truck, so he was like bait.
There we go. Yeah. And that's usually Patty Fry. She's a night owl, so she's out running around. And well, when was it? We were out in Ohio at Salt Fork, and middle of the night she's out there with her flashlight and machete, waving her machete around.
Yeah. And what he was saying there, what Todd was saying, he said, but I'm not. He said he told me he's not claustrophobic, so that was a very odd experience for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was camped right there by you guys that night, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he was.
that would have probably been about the same time as that metallic clang. Maybe that's what kind of got him started, you waking up or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Siberia visitor. Yeah, Todd is our DNA specialist. He's our he pulled the DNA from the handprints. There's an oily substance whenever they leave handprints on the windows or the vehicles. Todd is able to pull the sebum, basically, is what that is, and in a sterile way, and put it away so it can be sent away. We have a number of different labs that we can send our evidence to.
And he takes fingerprints and handprints and nose prints and
Yep.
I love the story. I wish he was on, but I'm going to tell. I don't like telling other people's stories, but I just got a kick out of this. He said that he has found evidence that he tapes pictures on the inside of his windows, and then they'll come up. And he said he has found that they'll come up and he'll have a picture of a Bigfoot face, and they'll come up and rub its nose.
Yeah.
And I said, well, maybe that's how they tell each other apart, like dogs sniff each other's rear end. Maybe they rub each other's nose, and maybe that's why you're getting all this snotty stuff on the fingerprints. It's Bigfoot boogers.
Yeah. Todd, I posted the link right below your comment. So if you can click on that link with your phone, you'll be able to join us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
He's way smarter than me.
Me too. Yeah, he's extremely intelligent gentleman, and I admire his talents. And we've developed a pretty good team between Dave Wargo, Todd, and JP up in Canada, and we have a separate research area in the Allegheny National Forest that we've been working on since 2018. And Levon, yes, I was showing some photos at the beginning. I have let's see. Unfortunately, I don't know how to post photos on here, but we can have them on the group. Todd has his own YouTube channel where he's been showing a lot of his work in the prints, and my photos have been in the group. And let's see, I can show the video again. Yeah, I made a little video showing. It's really not evidence, none of the evidence. It's just the area and so on. But
Yeah, Todd posted some evidence though, and it's on his YouTube channel.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. If you guys go to his YouTube channel, you'll be able to see quite a. Oh, there you are, Todd. Okay.
If I figured this out.
hey, looky there.
Hey.
You made it.
Yes, let me find my remote and turn the TV down. I'm in my workshop, so there isn't any feedback. I can't believe I made it.
I'm glad you did.
Oh, here it is. I can't believe I made it.
I'm glad you did.
Wow. I actually figured that out. Thank you for the link.
You're welcome.
I'm working on my prints right now. Part of my challenge is shipping these and the weight of them compressing the dermal ridges. And I have several, and you can see the cueing of the face that I do on it and doing the handprints. It's turned out to be a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. I'm sorry.
No, you go right ahead. You know, we're interested in what you have to say also, you know, describing what you discovered up at Sherry's and at Mark's trailer.
So what it really suggested to me that I found was really interesting. So first off, Sherry showed me the suggestive handprints on the rear bumper of the camper. And what was nice about that dirt roads is the dust. So it's all clean dust, but there's these handprints, fingerprints. Let's see, get my camera right here, like this. So what that means is the position of the hands, something was climbing up from underneath, you know, unless Bob was laying on his back, crawling out from underneath it again. And this is a pattern that, you know, I've been seeing of looking in more places, and it makes sense that these creatures, if they're interested in looking in the vehicle, well, the four dimensions of the vehicle, and like Dave Wargo said, either that or they're trying to steal the catalytic converter. This would be on the truck, not the camper, obviously.
Yes.
So she talked about hearing like sticks dragging that little pea gravel that was there, and you see these drag marks going out, you know, 40, 50 feet, and started just short of where the handprint was on the bumper. And it did it several times, the same parallel direction. And just at the end of the campsite, where the leaves and the forest floor starts, so, you know, the debris, it's where the sticks were all dropped. So it was like each time one came in to maybe mess around with the camper, took a stick, dragged it out, and then dropped it before the forest edge. So it was almost like counting coup to me, or potentially covering their tracks. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And
yeah. They'll do that.
Yes. Yeah. And that makes sense. And then we were starting to see within that, these soil, that pea gravel disturbance, you know, the size of a smaller foot, but a little bit shorter. So to me, this stuff's tough to make a print on. But if you were on all four, and let me get the camera lined up right here, and powering off a surface, if you're on all four, and as you're propelling yourself forward, you're going to like sweep those stones clean, you know, in the shape. I can't get this camera right in the shape of your most of the foot. And that was pretty compelling because something was doing that, and it's not a squirrel, not a raccoon, maybe a bear, but a bear each time. It's a sizable stick, maybe an inch around.
Mhm.
It was compelling. Right off that same direction, Dean came over later, and we see things the same as far as foliage manipulation. I love his term for that. We each kind of went out a different direction, but both of us called out what we saw ahead. There's going to be something over there, approach on each side. And sure enough, you could see where they would stand on the backside of a tree, and of which there'd be a larger stick leaning against the backside. And when you peeked around that tree, perfect sight of their campfire, the side that they would sit on,
Mhm.
where they had the camper set up, the door, and incidentally, my truck was backed in there. I work off my tailgate, and that was the shot. And we found a couple of those, and they stage in. Like I said, it met all the criteria. Was the defilade, where you can see under the brows, stages, multi moats to the castle and moat. And
Mhm.
then there was that creek or wash, and then went up the hill again so that they could still look down, and they could see a long ways. And
Yeah.
Bob has some really nice equipment, and I think if he knew to look that direction, because there's a lot of directions and places to look, at night he'd see something. What I would do differently there now, knowing that, I would do my trick that you see me before with the survey tape and kind of line them up in the woods. Gotta
Yeah.
get the camera right. Line it up so that at night you can just line those couple up, and then you know where to focus your view, or even a camera or night vision or something, and maybe see something. So it's fun.
It was a fun trip, no matter what. And just so much happened, to, different people.
Right. Right.
I know that, I slept in my van. And, like I said, Wednesday night, the only thing that happened to me was I heard a vocal. And I'm thinking the only reason why I didn't get the same treatment with, getting rocks thrown at my van and everything else was I was in a U-Haul van, one of those $20 a night U-Haul vans. I just set
Great
up.
idea, by the way, that you had doing that.
Hey, it's a cheap way
It
to
is
travel.
clever.
It on the side of this van, there was both sides, there was a photo of a woman, her head and shoulders. And I'm thinking that photo kept them away from my van, that they thought that she was looking at them. And so
Wow.
they pretty much, that I'm only surmising.
Well, I like the way you're thinking on that. Wow. Yeah. Strong possibility of
Yeah.
that. Hey, Mark, I heard that you had your bedroom screen
yes.
clicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely spend a lot of time looking around that. I can validate that there was nothing wrong with that screen when I left there at 4:00.
Yeah, and you left in the afternoon, and the next morning it was pushed in probably 4 inches and literally a foot from my head.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. And then he had those two spots that just too worn, but I've noticed with this powder that sebum, some other things can cause it to stick too, but that sebum and usual spots to the right and left of the window, kind of as they're leaning in. Then I think with those crank out windows of a camper, I saw this over at Bob and Sherry's, of that, oh, this is what I got to do here, and press their face up and probably kind of weirdly sniffing. That's kind of
So my big thing is the den up high, and then there was that spot that you lifted, and I've got the print right here yet, but it's and I hadn't mentioned this earlier, but a spot about, I don't know what, the size of maybe just a little, not much bigger, about the size of a baseball, but it was just round, but it wasn't pushed in. It was just like a round, like if they, I don't know if they put their palm or what.
That's what I see a lot of, and I have on quite a bit of this stuff is a lot of heal the hand, and it could actually get the round shape from actually rotating the hand. I think the spot could get that look that it had was, as something's looking in and leaning in like that. And where that dent was, I mean, I don't know if that's what it was, but again, it was above that window, and it's like they reach up to look in and lean down and
Right.
in the right place. Very suggestive.
Yeah, I can't find that. I thought we lifted that round spot, but the only one I have this one that you did that was, I don't even remember where that was from or if you can even see it. But
you'll be up on my big screen in here a second.
yeah, well, anyway, it's just it's a print that you lifted off the side. I think it might have been that might have been the one by the refrigerator vent.
Yes. Yep.
So,
yep. And he had a lot of interesting marks by the refrigerator. And again, it stands to reason, all the smells, the formaldehyde, everything. It was like they were, yeah.
Sniffing around there.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Mary, that was an impressive spot. And Dean and I drove around that night and came upon a road named Willow Creek. It's like, oh yeah, we got to turn up there. And the stuff that was suggestive of the, I like to call them street signs, of how they cross the road.
Yeah.
And just the place where they are makes sense. Paralleling a little wash, also probably on a little bit of a curve or a dip in the road. So as when they cross, there's the least chance of someone seeing them down the road. We did some call blasting, and I'll tell you, it was a good spot because the echo just went on and on and on. And we didn't get any response, but, I started looking on Google Earth afterwards. Wow. It's nothing but forest.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I had looked at that area. Oh, when was it? Back in, I think, 2020, and thought, I really want to get in there and camp. But I never had the chance until last year. And I checked it out on Google Map, Google Earth, and narrowed it down a little bit more as to exactly where I wanted to be. And, I looked at the terrain, the waterway, everything involving that area. And I said, yeah, that's a boogery area.
Yep. You were right. You did good with that. And then definitely that the site you picked was good, but that site Bob and Sherry was at, that's meets all those features that I like to see. Not that I like it, but I've seen where there's activity and the reasons why. And that back to, you got to think like Marine recon or some kind of scout sniper that you're on a mission, a specific target, and you want to not be discovered and then get out alive. And then whatever's looking at wants to kill you, and think on the ground more. And it gives you a different perspective to look at things differently. If you look at that motivation, or at least that's how my brain works.
Right.
That was a cool spot.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few people here wanting to get in on the drawing for the book. I'm doing the drawing this evening.
Make sure Todd gets to tell everybody how to get to his YouTube channel too.
Yes, there's my book. And if you want to be in on the drawing to win the book this evening, comment book on here, and I'll write down your name. We'll do the drawing at 8:45, and you got to be present in the chat to win. So you can message me later and with your address so I can send it to you. But yeah, Bigfoot New York Todd, go to Todd's YouTube channel. You can just click on his name here or type in his YouTube channel, which is Bigfoot New York Todd.
Yep. And you might have to scroll down a little bit because Todd Standing did an investigation in New York, and the algorithm and stuff I run over, but it's getting better. And your book, Mary, I've only thumbed through it, and thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
And I love your title, What You Have Learned. And that's kind of what it is for all of us, what we've learned. And that's what's neat about being together, is learning from each other. And I know you've learned a lot. You lived with them. You've been at this so long.
Yeah, for quite a while. I could have named it, just about anything. I went through, half a dozen different titles, including, just calling it Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. And I thought again and said, no, let me describe what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's what I learned.
Great title. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, your book, Mary, is it available to people that want it on Amazon or anything?
Yes. Yeah. If you don't win it this evening, you can go on to Amazon, just type in my name and the word Bigfoot, and it'll come up first thing. It's only $14.99, and you can order it through there. Plus, it's on Kindle, and you can get it on Amazon. But if you want an autographed copy, just send me a message, and I'll autograph it to you and send it to you, and that's $20. And that's to cover the postage, and that's all. And the book plus postage. Yep. I get Mark a copy.
Yep. Nice.
And there's, I can't see my computer when I'm showing this, but there's what the autograph looks like.
Yep.
You want an autographed one? Good book.
I was blessed with an autographed one too.
Yep.
I think I have that handprint from the other day. So you guys keep talking. I'm gonna go find it.
Go find something. Okay. Yeah, we usually go into different areas, whenever we hold our group campouts. And this year we went to 3 different places. But I'm thinking next year we're going to try to get more into Eastern Pennsylvania, although we have been in Eastern Pennsylvania and Central Pennsylvania. We just get so many complaints that, hey, come on, we need you out here in Eastern PA. So, hey, I'm trying.
I think maybe up along the very northeast corner along the Delaware Water Gap might be good.
Yeah. We were in, trying to think of the name of the state park, Hickory, can't remember it, 4 years ago. And Levon, we were at Bald Eagle, that's in north central Pennsylvania. We were at Prince Gallitzin State Park, Chestnut Ridge. We were in, Kew Mahoning, just outside of Somerset, Pennsylvania. Let me see where else. Another one down around Somerset that I'm blanking out. Quite a few, all over Western Pennsylvania. Yeah, Prince Gallitzin was outstanding also. We had quite a bit of activity there. That's outside of Altoona. JR, JR's saying he's going to win it. Yeah, just as a reminder, if you want to win a copy of the book, just write in the comments section the word book, and you'll see me looking down, and I'm just writing down your name, But we'll have the drawing at 8:45, thereabouts, between 8:45, 9 o'clock. Donna, oh, he's okay. Good luck to all you. Yeah, David. Me. You never know. We'll never know. Yeah, so far we have 10 names on the list.
Pretty good odds, 1 in 10.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Better than Vegas.
Yeah, last month we had I had a pair of Bigfoot themed PJ bottoms, and yeah, we had a winner. She seems to win everything, but I don't know if Greg is still in here or not. I don't see him commenting, but but this month I figured, let's do the book, and then next month we'll do something different. Okay, let's see. We have a question. Do I have a rough estimation of how many Bigfoot are in Pennsylvania? Let me think. I know I had done a rough calculation, and that was based on Kumbo. Kumbo had done a calculation throughout the different states in the U.S. And I'm trying to think. I think he estimated around 6,000 for Pennsylvania, but that's only for males. That doesn't count the females and the young. So you can always times that one number by 3. So 3 times 6 is 18. So rough estimation, 18,000. And that's based on Audubon Society software. And can't remember what the other piece of software that Kumbo used.
You want to know an interesting little tidbit? So I've heard, I believe Jeff Meldrum has always said, if you want to know how many Bigfoot are in an area, look to see how many bears there are. And there'll be the same number of Bigfoot as bears. I just typed it in. Bigfoot or Pennsylvania bear population is estimated to be 18,000.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think Dr. Meldrum used like 1/10 of that number. And
Okay.
it was very conservative. And
Yeah.
you would have to.
He may have adjusted his opinions too as time went on.
But it is, yeah, and it does seem logical. And
there are a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it Kumbo? I'm sorry, that you said did the estimation on that?
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's higher than I thought. But I'll tell you my feeling of my experience in this, like surveying in the sense that I do scouting. I just strongly believe there's a lot more of them than what we can think.
Yes.
I know that number, but there's a lot more than what we can.
Yeah, if you look in the group in the file section, there's an article in there where he goes over the formula and his estimation for every state in U.S.
Well, I found some of the prints that I kept for myself to submit to Doug, but I'm only finding I haven't had a chance to really land, and I'm on this other handprint project for Legend Meets Science and all the DNA and assigning the specimen numbers and the photographs back. It's a lot of work, a lot of organizing. That's not my strong suit. But I'll tell you, this was left at the dinette window. So on the slide out at Bob and Sherry's camper. So it's a smooth side fiberglass camper as opposed to like the aluminum, like marks, and it's pretty new, but all that fiberglass still regardlessly oxidizes. So all I can emphasize is, man, you have to look at every light angle, different times of the day and angle. And one thing that we observed there again, those handprints in the fiberglass on the one slide out by their bedroom was working there. We both inspected. It was really easy to see there was nothing there. And the more that I worked over there, the sun started getting through. So now it's noon, 1, 2 o'clock, and on that one spot, all of a sudden I look over, everything was obvious. It was like that, whatever it is that's in the sebum that's acidic or whatever causes the etch into some paint surfaces was like developing with the sunlight. Because when I thought, both of us are like, no, we looked at that hard and it was an easier surface to see. It wasn't there. It was like exposing. And I feel that even though I, put some carbon and some different things and some fluorescence to help find those prints, they would have shown up in a couple weeks because it etches and then it starts, all your rain and dust starts sticking to it. And in fact, with the set that's on my truck cap, I've even seen that fluffy lake effect snow. This is a year later now. Well, so this is over the winter, months later. It's a year today. It was September 23rd last year is when the print was made. I saw the fluffy snow actually stick to where the fingerprints were, like a Velcro. And it was like, I photo documented it. And it's like, that's really, really peculiar, I thought.
Yeah. Now the prints are still showing on your cap?
Yeah.
And you've washed it, I'm sure.
Tons of times. And then just the rain, the snow, the weather, and washing. Actually, this is I can't use this camera being backwards.
I know it is. There's your perspective.
That's the handprint. So it was made September 23rd. I did the latent print lift of it February. And just think of just the weather alone. And it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
So off theirs, and I don't mean to occupy everything. If you have
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. You stop me anytime. Really,
Okay, stop.
Freeze.
Yeah, I could probably do that buffering. That is like a smudged thumb, but it has some really good dermal ridges in it.
Wow.
So, and it was all by its lonesome, other than, no, those are my notes. Well, and there's a little bit of a fingerprint there. So again, I kind of have a feeling it's the heel right here and just a touch of, the pinky. And again, it was right by the dinette window as it's leaning in. And then, I didn't mark this one. I was over there so long, as you know. But there was a nice single, there was more fingerprints with it. I left some with them too. And this is the other one that I collected too. And you know what? Shame on me. I didn't make a note where that was, but I know that was by the bedroom. But that has really nice dermal ridges on it. And I don't know if that's a thumb or a finger, or maybe a finger rolling and moving some in motion, but it's got those dermal ridges and and also it's the location too. I mean, I was on a 2-step ladder, step stool to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah, Patty, you should check your truck.
Yeah. And your van too. Well, you already turned it in probably.
Yeah, I've already turned in the van. And
Truck of Patty's was black. It'd really show up good if it got some dust on it, I would think.
Yeah, that would show up really well. Really well.
So another interesting thing that I find about these prints too is, and I don't know why it is, but the amount of sebum on their hands changes. So there's been some time when the humidity was goofy and you would expect it to be kind of liquid like, and it was, and it happened so fast. It would just look like skim milk running down it. And it was the easiest collection with that Q-tip swab, because you just roll and soak it up, as opposed to like trying to, it's almost like tree sap or something. And, you break the stick. Done lots of those. And so like this weekend over at their place and kind of Mark's, and I've experienced this other times, like there isn't a lot of sebum. So that dust from a vehicle sometimes can kind of like soak that little bit of sebum up. So really, Sherry's back bumper, it was the disturbance of the dust, the absence of the dust that you saw. And they really didn't dust for latent prints really well. It just didn't stick to it. It was like the dust stuck to their hand.
Yeah.
There's other times where their hands are real greasy and sticky, and there's no confusing it. I don't know why it changes. It makes sense that it would.
Yeah, I've noticed that comparing to handprints that have been on different vehicles that I've had, out in Ohio, they rocked my pickup truck, and there were handprints on there very clear,
Right.
but they weren't as oily, is what I've noticed. These are up in the Allegheny National Forest, and I don't know if it's that area. What about your area in New York? Have you found handprints up there?
So at my hunting lease, 2, 3, 4 times now, and each one of those conditions were black vehicles and covered with dust driving up there. So it was more that absence of. However, I had a friend, she had a brand new Subaru, black, super clean, but right before she went up the hill with it. And boy, that left some good prints where the dust acted exactly like the powder for lifting the latent prints, and went through a car wash. And those were actually my first prints. I've always kept my eye out for them before, but we were only gone like 45 minutes and coming down the hill in my booger buggy. That's what I call my side-by-side, and got it all lit up. And we're still 50, 60 yards away from her car. And she's like, who put their hands all over my car? And it's like, I can't even see that yet, but you know your vehicle. And it was like a juvenile. They were really small prints, and they were cool. And I didn't have my ruler, but I always keep my pocket knife and actually write the length of it. And we all know the blade has to be 3 inches. So I had that for scale, and the entire palm of it was under the 3 inches and it was a print kind of like this, and the entire thing was under the 3 inches. And that was neat. And that was the same place my truck was when end of July, when Dave Wargo and I went up there, and we looked that night, but we were trying to pack up Gal. It was late. We were tired. I did a quick look around, but a couple days later, I was at my cottage, and sure enough, man, there's prints all over it. Hauled the enclosed trailer back up, so like your trailer, Mark, and with that gate, but the big draw of sebum down it. But yeah, I had all that dust, especially the backs of a vehicle, how it'll get more dust. But it was that big goopy, and that's a taller enclosed trailer than most. So that was at least probably closer to 9 foot up, and nice drag mark. And I have these Bigfoot cutouts, vinyl graphics on the back. They drew right down and touched it.
Really? Did they? Oh, cool.
They're responding to these graphics I'm doing of, doing, this, and putting their hands. And sometimes nose or like Mark said, circling on the nostrils. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's fine. And right hand dominant too is the other thing I've noticed.
Okay.
I mean, I can't prove that, but
Right.
there's the two handprints. The right hand is majority of the time the better handprint.
Right.
More inquisitive too, more marks. So
Yep. And that and the runny nose. I think there was one of them had a runny nose at up at the research area.
yeah, yep. And that was the best nose print, and it was just like that one. It's on Doug Highcheck's sheet, that taxonomy of the Albavernix, and it looks exactly like it. And it's like that was uncanny. No, this is a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time with it.
Yeah.
And Indian artifacts, and I really need a girlfriend.
Well, ladies.
Yeah.
Well, give them your email address so they know how to get hold of you.
I pour into it really hard. It's fascinating, and the critical thinking, it causes me to learn so much new stuff and escape from my world that I probably don't want to be part of anymore. It gives me something different. And
Yep.
fun.
Keeps you off the streets.
It does. That's what I say too. Yeah. And out of the bars and off the streets and in the woods.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you are so thorough and very meticulous in what you do.
I am meticulous.
Yes.
Not very organized though. I try, but
Todd's meticulous and I'm ridiculous, so we kind of share that.
me too. Well, you're both great speakers and presenters, and Mary, you look fabulous too.
Aw, thank you, Todd.
Yes, you look great. Mark, it'd be weird if I said anything. So
I quit shaving. It's time for the winter beard, so I'm just starting it. So I probably look a little scruffy, but
yeah, that time's coming.
Give me another month and it'll be down here.
There you go.
Really? I'm growing my first one.
I grow one about every winter, and I
Yeah.
can get a pretty good beard. If I don't trim it, I look like ZZ Top if I don't trim it.
Really?
There you go.
Whenever I go camping, I don't wear makeup. So yeah, I
I
go
don't need
all out for the podcast.
No, well, you always look good, but you just, you do the lighting right and everything for just a compliment.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Well, I think it's about time that we
Yep.
do the drawing. But tell you what, guys, give your Todd, if you have an email address or you just want people to contact you through your YouTube channel.
That works, and I'm still an old-fashioned guy that you can text or call me. I just don't have a good email that hundreds a day. I get all the employees' emails, and I am email overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on doing it. That especially, how your emails get corrupted and so much garbage comes in and filtered through them. So I think there is a way through YouTube, but
yeah, they can contact you through your channel. There's an area on there that they can do that.
Yeah.
Or else they can contact me, and I'll make sure that they are not a creep and not a troll. And
yeah, I might be a troll.
And
I might be agreed.
touch.
Yeah,
I've been accused of it.
I live on power lines, but not a bridge.
And Mark, do you have an email address or?
Yeah, probably the easiest way, rather than go through a whole bunch of stuff, is my website is cryptidsearch.org. That's all one word, cryptidsearch.org. just like by my name there where it says Cryptid Search Investigations, only just cryptidsearch.org without a space. And then they can find my phone number on there. They can find my email on there. And I will throw out that I have I call them an expedition, but I have one coming up the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of this month of October.
Mhm.
And I probably have room for a couple of people. I was hoping Todd might make it, but he said he might be too busy. And I know Mary said you're going to be gone, but
Yeah.
but if somebody wants to email me about that, I've got to check with my people that are leading teams out and make sure we've got room on a team. But I can probably fit in another person or 2 or 3, and it will be fairly near where we just had this one, maybe another 30 miles south. But we may fan out and even take a drive back up into the area we were in. I don't know yet, but they can go to my website, get a hold of me there. Cryptid Search Investigations is a 501c3, and so anybody that I don't charge for people to come on events, but if they come and they choose to donate toward the organization, either for firewood or just general expenses, that is tax deductible, and tax time's coming. So if anybody has any extra money that they don't want to pay taxes on, business owners, Todd, business owners should donate money.
I got enough write-offs.
I'm just kidding.
Money, pay tax on it.
Yeah. But anyway, it is a 501c3, and it has been officially since the 1st of July. So I can give people receipts for tax write-off if they choose to donate anything. So I appreciate you letting me put that information out there, Mary.
Absolutely. Anything to help fellow researchers.
And I should say that in order to become a 501c3, the purpose of the organization had to be research and organization. And so that is the purpose. And probably the 2 big things that I need right now more than anything are, number one, I need people that can help me start getting a database built. Although I know that one of my tech guys that works with me is talking to people at the Bigfoot mapping project about maybe sharing some information with them. But also, what was the other thing? I thought of a second thing that I needed. Let's see. Oh, and then especially if there's anybody out there with a PhD that is interested in helping develop actual scientific research methodology that we can implement in the field. I'm very interested in that because, again, I have to, at the end of the year, when I file my nonprofit paperwork, I have to show that we've been at least making an effort to do scientific investigation as well as education. So that's all.
Great. That's great. And hopefully that'll help. But okay, now for the drawing. I want to make sure that I have everyone. I'll go over the names, and if I miss your name, please type in the comments the word book if you want to win a copy of my book. And okay, number 1 is Barb Strzok. Number 2 is Alan Brummagen. Sorry if I mangled your name. Number 3, David Blaylock. Number 4, Jeff Yarrington. 5 is J.R. Haynes. Number 6 is Lavon. Number 7 is Phyllis. Number 8, Catherine. 9, Sandra. 10, Donna. 11, Cynthia. And 12, Patty Fry. Okay, all right, Floyd, you're number 13.
Oh, lucky 13.
All right. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Dave and Patty. Yeah, Patty, I have you. Okay, anyone else? Last call. All right, so we have 13 names. I go through random.org, and let's see if I can, I'll show it here on the screen. Okay, guys, I'm going to minimize both of you for a second.
Alrighty.
Let's see. And I'll just show my phone on here. Oh, let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, it's 1 through 13. I know the glare on there, you really can't see, sorry. And I'm going to hit generate. Number 6, number 6. Let's see who number 6 is. Number 6, Lavon, you won. All right, congratulations, Lavon. There's my list right there.
Yay.
Just take a look, Lavon, you're number 6. Yay, congratulations. All right, Lavon, just send me a message with your address, and I will autograph it and send that out to you. And we do this once a month as a fan appreciation, and next month we'll do something else. But I wanted to thank everyone so much for joining in and being such a great audience. And thank you, Mark. Thank you, Todd, for participating, for joining in, and fantastic. You guys, I really respect the both of you and the work that you do. And I count you both as friends, Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely. And thank you, Mary. And I definitely count you as a friend. And I admire and respect and appreciate you. And I also want to say thanks to Patty for giving me a heads up of this. And that's how here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Patty. Good job.
I was nose down in my prints and packaging, and I got a lot of work. I got a fridge full of DNA samples to send yet too. It becomes so bad when you have a separate fridge for it.
Oh, now you send your DNA samples out to North Carolina, correct?
So I'm sending them to Doug, and so it gets funneled through him. It'll get a priority, and I feel like because I'm nobody, so when this stuff gets sent, I know I'll probably not hear anything back. Doug has motivations, lots of motivations, and credibility. And I think the accounting of things and what's gleamed out of it, I think I might get more learning back from him. And
well, don't sell yourself short, Todd, because I watch Doug pretty regular, and this is Doug Hychek we're talking about that made Legend Meets Science 1, and he's currently doing Legend Meets Science 2. And I recall not too long ago on one of his shows, he had made a comment about that they were running behind in filming, and I think you mentioned it also. But the reason I remember him giving was that he was waiting on some additional DNA to come in, and that very well could be yours.
Well, and I think everybody's. Just
maybe, but
there's a lot of stuff coming in. He's having some good results. There's a lot of good experiments of a lot of other creative free thinkers out there, and I think he's probably doing the wise thing of just wait a little bit and let the real discovery come in. Even if we can discover it. I enjoyed the journey.
Oh yeah.
We all do. Well, what we do, it's important work, I feel. But like the motto for the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project organization, the first word is respect, and that's respect, for the Bigfoot, respect for the witnesses, and the last word is words, plural, is have fun. We
Yeah.
got to have fun at what we're doing. Otherwise, what the heck?
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
don't really want to prove Bigfoot's real because then I
Yeah.
won't have anything to do.
Exactly. No,
Right. Right.
I have zero interest in proving their existence. I truly don't. Right now, I'm just having doggone fun
Yeah.
and learning
Yep.
and jumping into this rabbit hole and learning and meeting some fantastic people. And that's the most important thing.
It is. It is. And I have to remember that because, as you know, sometimes I get out there, I get pretty focused and,
No,
get in my way, like,
no.
don't step over there, Yeah. I get really hyper focused on that. Too bad I couldn't focus on things that actually made me money. But,
Yeah, same
but
here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, to everyone who really is just getting into this and thinks that getting into Bigfoot is a big money maker, like a certain person's name. Maybe to some people it's a money maker.
Yeah.
On the most part, no. It's we're in the red. That's
Yeah.
why any donation is very much appreciated,
Yep.
and it furthers our research. And what we find, as you see here, we share.
Yep.
We share
Yep.
with you and let you guys know, because hopefully what you guys learn, you share with us.
That is why, it was fun lifting that handprint off that red Chevy there, and Larry coming over and checking it out, and it was fun to hear his excitement. But I really appreciated his look at it and his thoughts and breakdown, and
Mhm.
he noticed the motion and that it might have been making, and at first I didn't see it that way, and once he said that, it's like, yeah, and that's what's fun about this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone brings their own personal perspective, and they see something,
Right.
some other detail that you may have missed, and that's what's great about teamwork.
Yep. And challenge each other too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to throw a bone at anybody, but Brian King Sharp interviewed Les Stroud, and I'm a big Les Stroud fan. And at one point in the interview, Brian King Sharp, if you folks want to see that interview, it's on. I have a Facebook page that's also Cryptid Search, and a group that's Cryptid Search Investigations. But anyway, he asked Les Stroud, he said, "So Les, what do you think it's going to take to prove the existence of Bigfoot?" And Les looked at him and said, "You're kidding, right?" He said, "What more do you want?" He said, "We've got enough evidence now to prove in any court of law that it exists. It's just that people won't accept it."
Yeah.
So I mean, if it actually comes down to, pictures and video and footprints and fingerprints and sebum, and the list just goes on and on and on.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I have the rabbit hole yet to go down with some Indian artifacts I've been finding.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff too.
Effigies.
You ought to do a show with Todd on that, Mary.
I have some more digging to do, but what it's suggestive is these. They look like two Vikings, and also with some with the chainmail that they had hanging. Dave Varga was the one that saw it as a Viking when I was showing him this other
very sharp
artwork.
features.
Ooh.
And then I started finding the same kind of art, same acre, right on the shore of Lake Ontario, and definitively it has that brow ridge, the sloped forehead, and the conical. 3 of them. And then the last one I found a couple weeks ago was the rock art of a mastodon. So we know those existed, and we know that the Vikings, the Norse spearhead was found 6 miles from there. The Indians, and it's like, so they're creating this art of what they saw. We know how accurate First Nation people, their lore is, their folklore. You can't change that, and it's been proven over and over how accurate the history is. Well, being etched in stone of something is etched in stone, and how accurate that that mastodon was, the where the tusk came out, where the forehead is and stuff. This is all in the same area, actually, the same pile. And wouldn't that be something? I mean, I can't prove any of it with it, but boy, is it suggestive that they're recording what they see. You know, Viking, their grandfathers, mastodons, and Bigfoot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I showed Mark a little bit. I've work to do on it before I present it, and it's just an idea, you know. Either way, no matter what, each piece is pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely looks like what he's describing. So,
Yeah.
like I said, you ought to do a show on that alone sometime if it's in your wheelhouse. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we do different things on here, not just Bigfoot. We do other cryptids, anything historical. You know, we chat about anything and everything. You know, during the summer, we've been going over my garden also.
you let me on, so obviously you're not picky.
Nope. Nope.
Now, you're a smart guy, Mark. Very articulate, too.
I've been called a smart something before. I can't remember.
No, you're either a fart smeller or a smart feller. I'm not.
Yeah, one of them.
Oh man. Well, tell you what, guys, it's after 9 o'clock, and we'll let these good people go on to.
Hey.
I think there's another podcast on that some of these people go to. But I want to thank you both.
Thank you
so much. And Mark, you know, whenever you finish up with your camp out, check in. Let me know if anything interesting happened.
Sure.
And Todd, yes, definitely, we'll have you on again.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds great.
All righty.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. And
all right. Oops. There we go. See ya.
Good night, everybody.
all right, guys. And I want to thank you so much for joining us. And just join us next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And prayers, yes, definitely prayers to the people down south, Mississippi, Louisiana, because of the hurricane that's coming in. And I also wanted to request prayers for some friends of mine. I have some unspoken prayer requests. And but thank you so much for joining us. And well, I can just ramble on here, but thank you so much for joining, and come back next Wednesday. So God bless, and Monkey Wench out.